and today we are going to talk about databases. Databases are the backbone of modern applications. So from social media to e-commerce sites, they help us to store, organize, and retrieve the vast amount of data that we interact with daily. With Skapi, we have a user-centric non-SQL database, which you get a flexible, scalable way to manage your data. Since Skapi doesn't require a predefined schema, it's perfect for applications like user-generated content, chat systems, and any other dynamic data-driven app. Indexes is part of it, and it ensures fast and efficient data querying, allowing your app to scale without performance bottlenecks. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys a little bit how Skapi databases works and also a little bit of indexing. But if you guys want to know even more about it, I recommend you to go into docs.skapi.com and into the database. We are going to teach you guys how to create, how to fetch, and if you want to learn more about indexing, come into this part of indexing and you can see how we work with them in Skapi. So without further ado, let's start coding. What we are going to do today is basically a page where you can upload some products like a store. In this case, I'm going to use some Brazilian foods, and then in another page you can see all that you uploaded, and using indexing we are going to be able to query just some parts that we want to see. So for example, here is showing 2 foods. They are $5 and $7, and inside the code that I'm going to show you guys, you can see here into indexes that is showing values more than $5. But if I delete and put 0 and we go back into our application, we see that we get another product here. It's a product that is less than 5. Before, it was showing just these 2 because it was more than $5. But now that I put anything bigger than 0, this one also shows. And this type of querying we are able to do using indexing. So let's start. I assume you guys already have a Skapi account. And in this case, I created a new service called Brazilian Food Store. Into VS Code, I'm going to need 5 files, so a styles.css that I'm going to provide you guys on the description down below. Also a sign up, a login, an index, and an add product.html page. The login and the sign up, I already taught you guys how to do it. We are going to need it because in order to upload any product, you need to have an account and be logged. So I'm going to leave in the description the link for our other tutorial, how to create login and sign up page with Skapi in less than 5 minutes. So in this case, I'm going to teach you guys how to create our index and our add product page. I'm going to start with the add product. So since I'm using VS Code, I'm just going to click exclamation enter, and I already have our head and our body. I'm going to change the title to add product. And the first thing we need to do is that we need to add our Skapi keys to this page to be able to upload into our database. So we go back into Skapi. Let's go into getting started, and here are your keys. You can just copy, and I like to paste them into our head. And let's create a div. This is going to be where I'm going to put my form, and ID should be container. And inside that, I'm going to create a form to submit the product image, price, name. This form on submit, we are going to create a function called add product in which we are going to pass the event. And we are going to also decide the type of the form. It's going to be multi-part form data since we are adding an image. And we're going to put some inputs. The first one should be the image. So we can define the type, should be file. We need to define a name as well to be able to pass in the event. So let's name it file as well. And we're going to just accept images, but any type of format, PNG, JPG, and let's make this required. Same, we are going to add more 2 inputs. One is going to be for the product name, so we don't need to specify the type. Let's call it product name, and let's give it the same ID as product name. And in this case, we need a placeholder, so let's put it product name as well, so the user knows what to put in this input. Let's delete the accept one since we are not accepting images, and let's make it required as well. And our last and third input, the type should be number because it should be the price. The name, we are going to make it price as well, and let's give an ID, which should be price. We delete the accept as well, and let's put a placeholder, should be price. Let's also put a step of 0.01. We save, and let's just add some breaks between these inputs just to be a bit more organized. I'm adding 2, And our last input should be just a submit of type submit, so we can send this form. And the value, we are going to put submit as well. Since I'm using VS Code, I'm using this extension called Live Server. You can install it on your computer as well. I'm going to click with the left and open with Live Server. And here you can see, you can choose a file, you can put the product name, the price, and submit it. Let's also put a H1 tag so it becomes a bit more organized. Add a new product. Save. Here, add a new product. When we click into the left inspect and go into console, we see that we are building it with Skapi, so everything's working correctly. Let's then create our function. So every time the person submits this form, it's going to be saved in our database. Let's add a script. And inside this script, we are going to create a function called addProduct. We are going to receive the event. And inside that, the first thing we are going to do is that we are going to get the product name and also the price. So let product name be equal to document.getElementById and product name. Remember to get the value of it. And we are going to do the same for price, so let price, and don't forget to get the value of it. We are going to use a scaping function called postRecord, and in this case we are going to need to pass the event and the configuration. So we are going to define the configuration, so let config is going to be, first we need to have the title of the table. So if this table is not created, Skapi is going to create it for us. So let's call it products. We don't have this table yet. And we also need to define the index. The index is going to make it easier to query after. So we are going to name this index price. And the value of each index should be the price of the product that the user uploaded. Now that we have our configuration, we can then call skapi.postRecord. So we can add this to our database, send the event and the config, and then when this happens, we are going to receive a record. And with this record, so what we are going to do is that we are going to get product name .inner HTML. After submitting, we are going to define it to empty and do the same with the price. And also let's console log the record so we see if it's saved correctly. Other than that, let's catch any error. So if there is an error, what I'm going to do is just console log it. So I see if anything's wrong. And remember, I told you that in order to use that, in order to upload any product, you need to be logged in. So let's first get into the sign up page. Sign up with this email. After, we should be redirected to the login page. And then we should be redirected to our add product page. Let's go into our spec and let's try to upload the first product. I'm going to upload a coxinha. The value should be around, I don't know, $5. And when we submit, we can see here that we have the record. Inside the bin, inside file, and inside the first one, there is our image. So this is the URL of the image, the file name and everything. And inside data, we are going to have the price and the product name. We also have the price here into index, so name, price, value 5. Then let's upload a brigadeiro. Should be around $10. And the last one should be a pastel. I'm going to upload the pastel photo. Submit. We can see here that we have submitted it 3 times, so we have 3 records. And now let's learn how to display it into our index page. Same as we did before, I'm going to click exclamation. This is going to be our products page, so I'm just going to give it the title of products. Let's go into our Skapi and copy our keys. And in this case, let's also link our styles.css. Inside the body, I'm just going to create a div, which I'm going to give it the ID of product container. So every product we are going to display here. And there's nothing inside at first. So what we are going to do is that we are going to open a script tag. And we are going to, as soon as the user enters this page, we are going to get all the data that we saved. So in this case, we are going to call Skapi method called skapi.getRecords. We need to define the table that we want to get the records from. So in this case, it's going to be product. We need also to specify the index. So in this case, remember our index name is price. Our value, we want anything more than 0. So the value should be 0, and we are going to add a condition. So we want it to show anything bigger or equal to 0. There are many other conditions that you can get with indexing. So you can get anything less, bigger, it can help you to get things from a certain time. It can help you to get things more than empty. In this case, it's going to be any value more than empty. But in case there is things that starts with Asian, you can get more than, so it will be everything that starts with Asian. So to more detail, you can always go into our documentation. And when you fetch indexes as well, you can also get our average number, total number. So you can see the total value of all the products in our store. We can see the average value of the products in our store. So this helps a lot, and you can see here into fetch indexing. But in this case, let's just get everything that is bigger than 0. So any product that has a price, that the price is bigger than 0. Then, when we get all the products, we're going to get a response. And when we get this response, we are going to create an arrow function in which we are going to console log just the response list, because it's going to be a list with all the files, with all the data that we uploaded. And we also want to call this function called display product. So we want to display the product inside this container here, inside this div called product container. We still didn't create this function, but here we are going to pass the response list. Now let's create this function. So let's create a function called display product, in which we are going to display all the products that we have added to our database. First thing we need to do is that we need to get our div. So let's product list div equals to document.getElementById, and the ID should be product container. The inside of it should be empty for now, and then let's see how it's working. And one thing that I forgot to tell you guys before is, let's go again into add product.html, and when we get the price, remember to parse float. So we want to pass it as a number, so we need to use this to not pass it as a string and as a number. So please make sure to change it here as well and save. And please upload all of your products once more so we can upload it in the right way. Okay, after you uploaded all your products once more and we have the correct values, we can then go into index, and when we enter index, we can see here that we console log the response. The response are 3 of the files that we saved, since we saved 3 of them. And you can see that we get like a list, and it has all the products we saved. So in this case, for each element, we want to display them. So what we are going to do is that we are going to use product, because we are getting the product here inside the function. So this product is going to be our response.list. So we are going to get the list, so the product. And for each, what we are going to do is that we are going to get the product, we are going to create an arrow function, and inside that we are going to display. So for each element we are going to display it. We are going to first create a new div. So product div should be equal document.createElement, and we are going to create a new div so we can put our product inside. We are also going to give it a class name, so product div dot class name should be product. We are going to then create the image, so we are going to get the constant image. We are going to create a new element of the image. The source we are going to get from product dot bin dot file, should be the first file, because maybe you can have multiple files, dot URL. You can check this here. We come into our list. Let's check the first one. We go into bin, into file. We could have multiple files, but in this case we only have one. So if you click on it, we are going to have the URL here, and if you access this URL, you can see the image. So that's going to be our image source. We are going to do the same for the image name. So image, and in this case it's going to be out, and it should be not the URL but the file name. We can also define a little bit of the style. So let's just define the width to be 100 pixels, and let's do the same for the height, 100 pixels. We are going to do the same to create a name element and a price element. Constant name is, we are going to create it. We're going to create a h3 tag so we can display the name. Text content should be the name, and we are getting this by product, and inside data, inside product. Actually, I think it would be easier to save just as product, so let's save. Let's go back into add product. Let's just change the name here of the product. So just change the name, everything should be fine. And we are going to do the same for the price. So you can just copy, paste. The constant name is going to be price. We are going to create a paragraph element. So price and the text context. In this case, we want to create a certain style for the price. So what we needed to do is that we need to put some backticks. We are going to put always $sign before the price name because it's going to be in dollars, and then we create not a $sign just to put our element. In this case, it should be product dot index dot value, and we are going to use two fixed to 2, so it's always going to be 2 numbers, and save it. And after, we just need to append all the elements to our product div. So let's first append child. Let's append the image. Let's copy, and we can paste again. We are going to do the same for name and for price. So we are appending all of this to this div that we created, product div. And after that, we are going to get our main div. So it's going to be product list div, the one that we got here, the product container. And we're going to append child, the product div. Okay, let's save. Okay, now we have all the products that we uploaded. By using indexes, let's say you want the value to be more than $5. So if we save and go back, we only have Brigadeiro because it's our only product with more than $5. Let's say you want anything that is more and equal to $5. If we save, we have Coxinha and Brigadeiro. And this is just a very simple way to use indexes. You can use indexes for many other things, and you can also query your indexes, see what is the average price of all your products. You can create multiple things with indexes, and if you want to know more about it, just please let me know in the comments. Also, read our documentation, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in our next Skapi tutorial. Thank you for watching.